Oh, religion. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I hate religion. Why? I hate religion. Religion is the thing that keeps people boxed in. It keeps you in bondage. Religion. Religion is those people that comes with all the rules and regulations of what to do and what not to do. That's religion. Religion will keep someone that wants to seek the Creator, that wants to be liberated and set free, bound. That's what religion does. I despise religion. Despise it. You see, religion are those Pharisees that would tell you, oh no, why are you talking to that person? Or what are you doing over there? Or why are you doing what you're doing? That's religion. See, the Bible says that the letter killeth, but the Spirit gives it life. And too many times we get caught up into religion instead of having a relationship. See, it's because I have a relationship with my Creator is the reason why I can talk the way that I can talk without any apologies, without caring what people think and how they might feel, because I'm dealing with these subject matters. Because too many times in the church I found that, of course, the pulpit is used and it is sacred, but we pick and choose those things that we want to address. So what happens if you have someone that comes to you and they're filled with lust and demons, and they're trying to escape the promiscuity and the battlefield that is in their mind? And how do you handle that person? What happens to that person that may be struggling with their sexuality and don't know exactly who they are, but in their body they're feeling one thing, but their mind is telling them something else? What happens to those people? That's why I hate religion, because religion would tell those people, oh no, you got to stay over there. We have to separate ourselves from you. That's what religion does. Religion divides. Religion tries to control and manipulate. Religion will separate and bring about discord and keep those who are seeking the one that created them out. Oh yes, I despise religion. Religion will keep you bound. That's why I talk about it in my book. See, religion would have these particular topics that I'm speaking about to be cast away. And perhaps some may even shut me out because I'm talking about things like sex toys. A woman, a virtue, talking about sex toys, a woman of faith, a woman of the word, a holy woman is talking about sex toys. That's what religion will frown upon, that subject. The chase, how big is too big? Know your size. Yeah, religion will shut it down before it even gives it an opportunity to be heard. Religion silence the mouth of those who want to be free. No, not religion. Relationship. You have to have a relationship with the one that created you. Because you see, he has created you with all of those senses that you have. taste, smell, hearing, sight, touch, all of those. He's created the sexual side of you as well as the spiritual side of you. See, we're mind, body, and spirit, and we can't separate our parts. So what happens when you tap into the sensual side of you and you want to pull that out? What happens to that person? They're cast away. That's what religion does. That's why I believe that I'm on this assignment to do what I'm doing. Because I hate religion with a passion, but I love relationship with my Creator.
Hello, guys. Tonight, how are you, everybody? Thank you for stopping by once again to be a part of this reading and review. We're getting ready to get up close and personal with you all. We're going to get up close and cozy, guys. We've been going over these chapters. Hello, my beautiful people in the space. I got my faithful few here sharing with me. Thank you all for coming in. You don't wait for the replay. You come right on in. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hello. Good evening, Lizette. How are you, beautiful? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Let me put my glasses on so I can make sure I see everything that you guys were seeing. Pray you had an awesome day filled with joy. I did, and I pray that you did as well. Thank you, Lizette. Hello, Pelly Pal. How are you? My beautiful Kelly. Hello to you too, beautiful. Thank you for stopping in and sharing with us and always sharing and tagging. I appreciate it. Thank you. I love you. I love you too. I love you too. Thank you for coming into this space, you guys. All right. All right. I am well. I am well, beautiful. I am well. Thank you all so much for coming in to share with us. I will do the best that I can, Kelly. I definitely will. Thank you so much, my heart. There's my beautiful coming in, Monique. Thank you. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for sharing with us all this time, guys. We're actually moving right along. We're going into our 10th chapter. Can you believe that? It's been 10 weeks already. I'm sorry, 10 days already. I'm about to say 10 weeks. Wait, that's been a long time. It's been 10 days already. We've been 10 days dealing with our book entry, going into it, getting the best meat out of the book. We want to make sure that we're covering everything as relates to our book entry, shifting the paradigm to produce positive, life-changing results. And I am so happy to share with you. When you all see me looking over to the side, that is where my comments are popping up at. So I'm going in that side to the comments as well. So thank you all for coming in to share with us for entry. And we're going to continue on moving on. Thank you for celebrating me thus far. You all know that this is what I do. Those who have followed me for many years, every year during the month of my birthday, I begin to celebrate. I begin to bring those into my personal space and get up close and personal with them. I like to gel with them and kind of connect. And we have such a wonderful time sharing. So you guys, listen, we've been doing 11 chapters in 11 days, and we're on chapter 10 already. So you know what happens tomorrow will be the last chapter, chapter 11. But I'm so glad that you all stay with me for the long journey of 11 days. So we're going to make it. We're going to make it happen on tomorrow as we conclude our chapter on tomorrow. It's going to be great. So thank you for sharing in with me. You all know what we do when we come into the space. Go share, go invite, go share, go invite. Let somebody come in with you. Tag somebody to get in or share on your page, and they can pick it up from there, whatever you like to do. Sharing is caring. We already know, okay? So, of course, we went through our topics. Chapter number 1, market your product. For those of you that have been sharing with us as it relates to market your product, we already know that chapter speaks about branding, advertisement, marketing yourself, marketing your services, your products. How do you market yourself? Why would someone be interested in purchasing your product or listening to what you have to say or even connecting with you in any shape, form, or fashion or networking with you? They see you and you are your brand. You are your marketing billboard. So when they begin to see you, your essence will speak for you and it will begin to market. So always put your best feet forward and market your brand well. Be the best representation that you can be. There's only one you and can't nobody beat you at being you. But guess what? There's only one time to make a first impression. So make sure you make a good one. Okay. So then we have chapter 2, make the investment. Make the investment. What are you investing in? When was the last time you invested in yourself? And I'm going to tell you this, even before I really began to pour into me and invest in others, I was making somebody else's dream happen, making somebody else's vision happen. I was running with a vision. I was carrying it for them. I was praying them and keeping them undergirded and lifting them up, delegating and organizing and strategizing. So listen, until you know what your purpose is or what vision or what direction you're going into, or perhaps you even know, because there's many times, even with me knowing what I am birthing and what God is doing in me, I begin to go plant into somebody else's vineyard, go plant into somebody else's organization, into somebody else's business. I bought other people's books. I began to buy their books and promote them as well. A lot of times people always say, you're always sharing with others, you're always sharing their product, you're always celebrating with women. And I do that. You know why I do that? Because I love doing it. Because I believe that a lot of times as women, we can be so hard on ourselves. We can really be able to juggle so much in life. We carry so many roles. We wear so many hats. And a lot of times we put ourselves on the back burners. And then as soon as one of our sisters begin to do something spectacular, we don't know how to lift them up and build them up and cheer them on. And just be in their amen corner, so to speak, and to celebrate. I love it. I love celebrating people. I love celebrating those who are making great impact, making positive, and even a little win count. That's part of investing in yourself. So then once you understand it, I told you all before, I will be investing in other women's organizations because I knew that I was wanting people to invest in women of treasure. And here's the thing, wherever you sow, that's where you grow. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Wherever you sow, that's where you grow. And whatever you pour into, and you begin to pour into that and be rooted and planted, the same blessings come over on you. So I began to invest here because I knew that was good seed and good soil, and I could go there because I knew that was good seed and good soil. Now watch this. Whenever I was doing anything for Women of Treasure, my organization, I would plant into other women's organizations. Right? Whenever I was doing something for Kingdom Fit, K-Fit International Teaching Church, the church where I have been blessed and honor of God to pastor, I began planning in other kingdoms and other ministries. Okay? Whenever I birthed my book entry, I began buying other people's books and promoting their books. That's what you call investment. Make the investment. Make it. Make the investment and begin to pour and invest in you. When was the last time that you did anything for you? When was the last time that you worked on your goals and dreams? When was the last time that you prayed God concerning your purpose or your vision? When was the last time you wrote the vision down and made it plain? Invest in you. Invest in you. If you believe you're good ground, invest in you, because guess what? If you're not investing in yourself, no one else is going to think that your ground is that great either, because you may need that one particular individual that will pour into you and boost you up into you have to invest. Okay, and then after we go from make the investment, guys, chapter 3, we want to go into chapter 3, and I said it before, that's one of my favorites. Manage your time. We have to manage our time. We have to, because if you don't manage your time, other people will come and zap you of all of your time, deplete you of all of your energy, and they would take away all your strength. You will begin to have people that will be pouring into you all this negativity, and you're just sitting there listening. You're soaking it up, letting them dump on you, you letting them tell you all this negativity, all this gossip. Your time is a precious commodity, guys. And you want to manage your time well, because you can never get your time back. We already talked about it. You all have to go back and read the chapters. There are time killers, time stealers, time changers, and time setters. Which one are you? All right. Go back and read Manage Your Time in chapter number 3, and you'll find out which one. And then we have the chase. The chase. Looking for love in all of the wrong places. You already know. I told you all when I began to write this book, God began to download in me mind, body, and spirit. Okay? First the natural, then the spiritual. Your professional side, your personal side, and your private side. So we already know that those first 2 chapters begin to talk about your professional side. And then it shifts at the ending of chase. Looking for love in all of the wrong places, chasing after everything that is temporal. All those things will fade away. But have you chased your purpose, chase your dream? Begin chasing after that, and all of those material things and all of those lustful things will soon cease. When you begin chasing hard after your purpose and after the one that has created you, that have given you the purpose, you chase him, all of the things that you're searching for will begin to seek you out and chase after you and overtake your life. Then we have chapter 5. We have chapter 5 as it relates to know your size. Know your size. We know that topic, that chapter was very sensual, but yet spiritual, which are all of them the same way. But we know your size. We went in a little deep, okay, we went there all the way in. So know your size, know what fits right, what feels right, what looks right on you, what gels and mesh with you. What is your vision? Will you know who will match your vision instead of just laying in the bed with somebody that does not even measure up to the big vision, the dream that God has given you? Know your size. Who works with you? Who fits your dream and your goals? So go back and look at Know Your Size in chapter number 5. Go back to listen to the replay, and also to get the book at maryjaeenterprise.com. You'll be able to go there and get it on Amazon. Then we have chapter 6, How Big is Too Big. I told you all of these chapters are very sensual, and yet the topic is a paradigm shift. Once you begin reading, it's going to shift you in another direction. You're going to be like, whoa, that's what she was talking about. Wait, she had me for a moment. I wasn't sure which way she was coming with that, because the book is designed, it's intriguing, it's designed to stir your curiosity, right? To really, pull you in, to captivate you, and it's also to empower you so you can live the best version of yourself. So how big is too big? It speaks about your dream, your goals, your vision. How big is your dream? Who told you it was too big? Who told you you couldn't do it? Who told you it was impossible for you? You can do whatever you put your mind to. You are an overcomer, you are an achiever, and you can do it if you really believe it. And if God has spoken it to you and has given it to you to do, guess what? Begin to write the plan down, and he will bring it to pass. You have to activate it, okay? So nothing is too big. Stop sharing your big dreams with small, minute-minded people. They can't see it. They'll try to talk you out of it. And if you understand how to manage your time, you'll realize that is a time stealer, right? That is a time killer. You don't want that in your life. So don't share your dreams, guys, with small-minded people. They won't understand it. They won't catch the vision. And they'll try to talk you out of it, or they'll try to kill it before you get it started. And then we have sex toys. Sex toys, we already understand, for those of us who really, really know, okay? Because I always say we have religious folks, we have spiritual folks, okay? You have to understand the difference, right? And sex toy, when you go back and read sex toy, you'll understand that it is sensual, that it is very sexual, right? But it is also very spiritual. Solomon was really sensual, right? He began to talk about romance and love, right? and he explored, and he talked about a woman's figure and her breasts and her body. Solomon, he was one that was a very central being. He was very poetic in all of it. So that sex toys has everything to do with understanding what it really means. You go back and find out what sex toy means. I'll tell you, but you can fill in the blank or wherever you fit within those lines of the chapter. What is a sex toy in your life? It can be a job, a hobby, a chore. It can be a partner. It can be a habit. It can be anything that you just so engulfed in that you can't get enough of it, and that's all you want. That's all you want to do, and you just putting that before the person that you're yoked to or before the one that has created you. That is a sex toy. An idol, that's a sex toy. So go back and read it with all that getting understanding, guys. Go back and read it, and you'll be able to see all of what we're talking about with sex toys. And then on last night, guys, we talked. Oh no, not last night. We talked about for chapter 8, needs, wants, and desires. Well, this is a very touchy subject for me. As you know, when I began to share this, I got a little touchy. I felt it. As I was painting the picture before you, to talk about how that chapter was birthed. When I was homeless in a hotel room after a devastation, I was doing the was going through living in a hotel room for 45 minutes. I began to paint that particular chapter, especially sex toys. Seeing homeless, needs, wants, and desires. Sex toys was one also in all of those I began to write while I was living in a hotel room. But needs, wants, and desires was one that I wrote, and it just almost broke. When we understand what it is that we need, what we want, and our desires, and to realize there's somebody somewhere way worse off than we are. And even though I was very disenchanted about my situation, I could not complain, because I began to see those people on the street while I was yet at least still laying in a bed, right, in the hotel. It was a place of safety for me. You'll have to go back and listen to the chapters prior to this one, read it and understand it, and put you there. What is the need for you? What are your wants? What are the things that you desire? And you can have all three, because I believe that God will give us the desires of our hearts. So go back and check out that chapter. And then we have chapter 9, Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk was chapter 9. We talked about it. Pillow Talk, hectic days, highways, groceries, bills, all of the essentials of life. But sometimes it can weigh heavy on us when we're carrying it and we're managing life, right? We go through all of the stuff on the outside, but we don't want to take that stuff on the inside. When I go to my house and turn the key, all that other stuff, I want it to stay out. I don't want it to come in the house with me. I don't want it to lie down with me. I don't even want it to curl up with me on my couch. Pillow Talk will take you through all of those steps to decompress and get all of that stress and all of those negative emotions off of you, and all of those combative thoughts that you'll be able to really tear down. Okay, go back and read Pillow Talk, or go listen to it as well, walk through. And if you go to my website at maryjaeenterprise.com, you'll be able to find the book there, and you can get a copy of the book. And as I said before, it is on Amazon right now, but this link also will take you directly to the sale of the book and also the ebook. Okay, so it's in both. You'll be able to get it in either place. All right. So now we're going to our chapter for tonight, guys. We're dealing with on tonight, how much do you tolerate? Chapter 10, how much do you tolerate? Oh my gosh. Guys, we tolerate so much in life you wouldn't imagine. When you go back and look over the period of years of your life, the time that you spent settling, tolerating, trying to hold up and secure and build up other people who were not even willing to grow. It's like going to the doctor, right? And getting a prescription. A lot of times when you go to the doctor, understand this first. When you go to the doctor, you are given a diagnosis and a prescription based on what you have given to them. So once you begin to tell the doctor what hurts, what happened? Where's the pain coming from on a level 1 to 10? What's your pain tolerance? All of that, and you begin to tell. They begin to write a prescription and tell you what to do. Now, if you don't take the prescription and follow the instructions, or even if you don't take the prescription, but if you don't do anything differently and find a solution to help you with the problem, you're going to keep having the problem. Am I right? So we do that. We do the same thing when we tolerate people who are doing the same thing over and over again. They have the same soup warmed over, telling you the same story, and you thinking like in last season, man, didn't you say that then? Didn't you say you would do that? And we begin to sit there and tolerate it, because a lot of times we think that, okay, let's give them some grace. Let's give them some more grace. Let's give them some. But listen, guys, you don't have to continue to tolerate all of that. You don't have to. You don't have to tolerate all of that. Okay? I want to get right into, we're going to go right into our chapter on how much we would tolerate. Before we go there, I want you all to take a look at this, and I'll be right back. Okay?
How much would you tolerate? How much would you absolutely tolerate? I'm going to ask that question. So when you've gone through so much in life and you've experienced so much trauma, regardless of the good, bad, and the ugly, it's just enough is enough. When you come in to understand who you are and how powerful you are, how anointed you are, how chosen you are, how much do you really tolerate? Do you continue to put up with the same thing over and over again, regardless of who it is? Whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in partnership, business, if it's with your children, regardless of where and who, how much do you really tolerate? See, you have to understand what's your tolerance level, because your opponent would know that. Your opponent would know exactly how much you would tolerate, what your trigger points are, what they can do and what they can't do, how far you're going to let them go. Because listen, we allow certain things to come into our lives, but once we understand who we are and our worth, and we recognize those vices that come into our lives, it's up to you to accept it or reject it. So what's your tolerance level? Think about it. When you think about in your mind the things that you've gone through, the repeated cycle, you realize that you had a tolerance level that you kept allowing these things to come. You kept allowing them back into your life. You attracted those things to come back into your life again. But when you understand the cycle and the season and the time that you're in, think about, what were you doing at the moment? Where were you mentally and emotionally during those times? Where were you financially during those times? Because a lot of times our circumstances allows us to be placed in uncompromising positions that we just tolerate so much. How much do you really tolerate? Whether it's compromise or uncompromised, you have a tolerance level. Once you tap into it and you understand it and you know, you won't tolerate those things that you used to anymore.
You won't tolerate those things you used to anymore once you understand, once you tap into it. And I'm going to tell you, if you all follow on chapter 3, is it chapter 3 of Manager Time? Yes, chapter 3, Manager Time. You will find out that you won't have to tolerate that stuff anymore. When you begin to understand how to manage your time and understand those time stealers in your life, you'll recognize the difference, and you'll realize, man, I've been tolerating this stuff, I've been settling, and I really do not have to. I really do not have to. Yes, enough is enough. I tolerated a lot, but once done, I am done. I understand. Yes, we know our tolerance level is that. We definitely do. And once you get to that point of knowing and understanding, you don't have to deal with it anymore. You don't have to tolerate it anymore. Okay, guys, we're getting ready to go into our reading and review. We're going to get up close and personal tonight. It's a good chapter. I'm scrolling to find just the Lord music so you all can hear me better. And I'm just pausing for now. Okay, so we can pause it. All right. Let's get into the reading of chapter 10. How much do you tolerate? We're going to go ahead and look at chapter 10 on page 109. And those of you that have the book, read along with me. Those of you that do not have the book, listen along with us. And I'm sure it's all so let's go. Our struggles are easier to maintain if we just keep moving. You've been on this journey for years and it has taken you off course. The problem is that your path has crossed connections and playing fields, and you failed to recognize that you've landed in a dangerous territory. Listen to that. Your paths have crossed connections and playing. So much that you have gone through life, that you have been in places and spaces, and you didn't even realize that you were going through. You didn't realize that you were dealing with these things, that you were going through these things, right? But you tolerated so much so long that it became the norm. What happens? Sometimes you get in a place where you are just there so long that you forget where you are, that you become numb, that it becomes normal to you. You know, sometimes we can tolerate so much until it doesn't even hurt anymore. Have you ever been there? I've been there. This particular chapter I wrote as I was writing this chapter. It's a long story, but I'll try to make it shorter. I wrote the chapter before, and there was some things that happened. I valet parked at a restaurant, and my iPad was stolen out of my car. And when I got back to my car, I parked my car in the garage, and when I went downstairs to get my iPad, it wasn't there. So I know that's where it happened. But I lost chapters of my book, guys, and I was so disheartened. I was so hurt. And I tried to get those chapters back. We went and I spoke with the manager, but right? They're not responsible if you leave items in your car. So it was gone. So it was a long time for me to get back into writing
and writing. I was like, how am I going to get all of this information back, Lord? You gave me, you downloaded all of this in my spirit. And when I write, usually I just type, I just write free flow, and God just flows through me like a river. I don't normally write stuff on paper and have to ball it up and rewrite when I'm writing, unless we have something called writer's block, and that can happen as well. And I can teach you how to get over that. But this is something that happened. And when it happened, I didn't know how I was going to get all of this back, and especially this particular chapter. What happened was, when God nudged me to go back and continue to write it, and I started rewriting again, I rewrote the chapter on how much do you tolerate. It was actually after I had been in a fire. You all remember, for those who've been following me for many years, I came on social media. I talked about being burned in a fire where a stove actually blew up in my face. I don't know if you remember that. But the stove, actually, I was turning the burners on a stove, and I was at a Super Bowl party at my brother's place, turning the burners on in the stove. And what happened, as I was cooking some jambalaya, and I didn't know that the stove was not lit. So when I asked him about it, he came and he just turned it right on, and it came on. When I took the pot and I went to put it on the burner, the wind just that fast, and this is all of what my assumption is that could have happened. I'm not a scientist, a chemist. I don't know exactly what took place, but this is what I feel took place. Once I went to put that pot on, that back burner, the gas was still on, because while I was turning all these knobs, thinking that the pilot wasn't on and it wasn't coming on, it was actually gas seeping the entire time. And once that pot went on, the wind ignited that flame, and that gas blew up in my face. I just remember hearing a boom, and my arm went up as I tried to block my face and duck. You all, I was burned from the top of my forehead down to my chin. This arm was burned from my fingertip all the way to my elbow. I had second-degree burns. I had to go to a burn unit in Baton Rouge, and really, I didn't want anything for pain. I was in excruciating pain, but yet did not want to take anything for pain. And the doctors could not understand it. I really began to tell the doctors what to do for me while I was laying there on the table in the emergency room. There were heat lamps over me in the emergency room, and all of the lights in the room was just so hot, right? It was so hot that my burn on my face, it felt like an egg was sizzling, frying on the side of my face. I remember telling the doctor, can you please just lower the lights? Can you turn the lights off? It feels like an egg. I literally said that. It feels like an egg frying on my face. Monique said, yes, she remembers, you remember that. And I said, can you just please turn off the lights? And it was like, ma'am, we can't turn the lights off in the unit. The light switch works for everything back here. So they came up with a solution to actually dim the light that was around me. And they kept begging for me to take something for the pain, and I wouldn't take it. Why didn't I not take it? I was not trying to be superwoman. I was not trying to gain. I was not going to win a prize for not taking anything for pain. It was just that I had a side effect for medication years and years ago from an antibiotic when I was in my 20s, and I never was one to take medicine to begin with. And that right there, I just was like, I don't want to take anything for pain. Just take these lights, turn off these lights for me, please. Please get something topical to put on my face. Rub that so you can soothe it. They gave me an ice pack. They gave me something topical to put on my face, and it was like packing my face, like packing it, pasting it all over my arm and my face, and then they had to wrap it up. So long story short, went through the process of all of that healing. What they said that would take at least 3 months for me to heal, God healed my face in 7 days. I was healed in 7 days. It astonished the doctors. It baffled their minds because, of course, you all know I was praying on that emergency table. I was praying and God was speaking. God was healing me and my faith was being activated. And I began to go home and put mineral oil on my arm and on my face, and I was pouring it on. And when I began to pour it on, the skin on my arm began to slide off like butter. It was gross, y'all. It was like all of the rawness was showing. That's when God began to download this chapter in me. How much do you tolerate? I was blown away when he rewrote this chapter like that. It was nothing like the chapter that I had written before when my iPad was stolen and I lost all the content to my book. Not everything, because I had most of it backed up, but there were about, I think, like 4 or 5 chapters. Half of my book was on my jump drive, and the other half that I was writing in the coffee shop and writing while I'm in the hotel room, that was not backed up, and I didn't realize that it wasn't. God download, how much do you tolerate? And he took me step by step. What I'm reading, guys, was actually me. That I had gotten to a place where I had tolerated so much in life that I was literally numb. I didn't feel it. It didn't move me. It was like I was suited up and I was like just walking and existing in life without feeling any pain. I had gotten to a point where I couldn't hurt anymore. I couldn't cry anymore. I didn't feel anymore. And the pain was excruciating, but I had became so numb in life that even the pain that was on me and all of the things that was coming against me, and like I said before, guys, when I read you all the other chapter, with all the darts shooting at me, it was like hearing my Lord, what else? What else? Take take all of me, Lord. I'm yours. When you get to a place like you don't have anything in you left, and you know it's nobody but God that is sustaining you, that is keeping you afloat, that is literally holding you up, nothing else matters anymore. And I didn't realize that I had gotten to that point. And this is what I began to write. This is what God began to download in me. Sometimes our struggles are easier to maintain if we just keep moving. That was me. I was able to really move through the pressures of life. I kept going. But if I stopped, I was going to fall apart, and I knew it. I knew it. As long as I was doing and I was serving and I was giving, I kept moving. You've been on this journey for years and it has taken you off course. Now, what does that mean? Because sometimes you get so hurt, so wounded and afflicted that you so far out of, now you've gone out of the camp. Church hurt, you would move out of place. People, you would isolate yourself and you would get away from around them, right? And I had gotten to that point. Like, I'm done. I'm tired. Like, I'm doing everything that I can do. God, I give up. I literally, I've done it. I have enough. And this is what happens. You've been on a journey for years and it has taken you off course. Because what was I done with, people? What was I done with, church? What was I done with all of the same old rhetoric? I was sick and tired of it, right? And I didn't want any part of it. I told God, listen, God, I'm done with preaching. I'm done with pastoring. I don't want this anymore. I'm tired of this. This is too much. This is weighing too heavy. I give all and I'm left with nothing. That's where I was. And I was way out of bound because I told God I wasn't doing it anymore. The problem is that your path has cross connections. Listen, your path has cross connections and playing fields. And you fail to realize that you've landed in dangerous territory. That was me. I landed in dangerous territory. Why? Because I got way out of bound. I got so far till I told God, I don't want anybody, God. My heart was so hurt. I don't want anybody, God. God, I don't want any man to look at me. Don't tell me nothing. Don't open the door. I said, if they in the church, I don't want them. If they sing in a choir, I don't want them. I don't care if it's a usher. He don't even have to find me a seat. I'll get my own seat. I was saying all of these crazy things, guys, that I didn't want to have anything to do with anybody in the church. Yes. You've been fighting. You've been so used to fighting battles. This is what he was saying. You've been so used to fighting battles and winning wars that it has numbed you to the bone. Who am I talking to besides myself that you've been there? You're so used to fighting battles and winning wars. You're so used to having to be the one to carry the load. You're having to be the one to catch the ball that is dropped. You have to be the one to make sure that you finish strong. You have to be the one to hold the family up and to carry the weight and to pray them through. That you've been there so long winning wars that it has numbed you to the bone. You no longer can feel the things that have been affecting you. That I was just existing. I was numb. It was affecting me and I couldn't even feel it. I didn't even realize it. I would say I'm fine. I'm fine, I didn't even realize that I was hit being on a battlefield on the front line and you've been hit. And sometimes, guys, you can be hit by the enemies within. And there are some enemies that are in the camp, in the same camp with you, fighting on the front line with you, will begin to not turn toward the enemy, but will begin to turn toward you, right? You can feel the pain of the hot flames that have exploded in your face. And he paralleled that to the stove that blew up in my face. You can feel the hot pains that have exploded in your face. You've been in pain so long. You have learned, listen to this, guys. This is for somebody who's dealing with depression, who's dealing with anxiety, who's dealing with stress. Somebody that has been so down for so long and you feel that you by yourself. This is for that person. You've been in pain so long, you have learned to fan the flames just enough to cool down, only to realize you just kindled a fire. You ever been so hurt and you just like, you know what, God? I'm gonna make it through this. I'm gonna be all right, right? You go into hiding and you're wounded. You're on the battlefield. You're wounded. You got shot in the leg. You shot in the arm. You don't have an arm or a leg to stand on. Now everything has been ripped from up under you, and you just go and you just fan the flames by yourself. You taking care of your own wounds. You trying to heal your own heart, right? You trying to take care of everything by yourself. And then, while you're doing that, that's my friend there. Hello, Leon. Yes, lots going to hiding. Absolutely. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in and sharing. Leon was our speaker for Women of Treasure last year, our keynote. Thank you so much for Leon for sharing. So you get to that place. You get to that place where you begin to fan the flames. Now watch. Once the flames are fanned, all the elements and particles nearby are ignited, and you will find yourself in a soon-to-be forest fire. I don't know if you know about building fires, or if you watch movies where they're camping out and they're building a fire, and the fire is built. I know Leon know about that. He's a Marine, And so now once you fan the flames, even you all that grill on a grill, and you have the fire getting ready to go out on the grill, and you're fanning it so the fire can reignite. Yeah, but all of the elements and all of the particles around it begin to ignite as well. That's what God was downloading when he gave me this chapter on intrigue. If only, listen to this, if only you had taken the time to slow down. Slow down, Mary Jae. Guys, I was on a run for my life. You don't understand. I was running literally for my life. If only you had taken the time to slow down and follow the instructions. Listen to the instructions, guys. Listen to them. Contents in the can are flammable. Keep away from heat. Keep out of reach of children. It can be hazardous and harmful to health. If swallowed, call 911. If in eyes, flush with water immediately, may cause blindness. You all read these contents on the back of a can that lets you know to be aware, right? If only you slow down and follow the instructions. If only I would have just slowed down and settled instead of trying to run so hard. But I was actually running to build another life for myself. I was running to get safety. I was running to pull up myself by my own bootstraps, you all. I don't like pity parties. I don't like to even tell people when I'm going through, because I don't want anybody to come around, whoa, it's me. You know how people can do. I didn't want a pity party. So I was determined that I was going to run. And while I was running, I was going to work. I was doing it. I was getting it done. But this is what happened. Listen, but instead, you've wrapped up your wounds, applied eye drops, gargled to clear your throat, and you refuse to swallow your pride. There it is. Refused to swallow my pride because I was in a broken place. I had been there and I didn't know who I can share this with, who I can talk to. I was too prideful and I didn't want anybody in my business. So I had to do it myself. I had to figure it out myself. So I thought, you are your prize, your prides, prides, prize. 911 emergency. It's time to get out of your own way. How many of you are standing in your own way? How many of you are standing in your own way? I can't do out by myself. Yeah, I can do it by myself. How many of you are standing in your own way? When people swallow their pride, they settle. Yes, they do. You better believe it, Leon. You better say that again. You got that right. You have to get out of your own way. And it wasn't until I got out of my own way and I began to go to therapy, because I was like, Jesus, take the wheel, right? I found myself on my living room floor, screaming to the top of my lungs, crying out for help, because what I did not understand, that I had allowed the enemy to come into the camp, and he began to laugh louder and louder in my ear. It got so loud. And he began to taunt me and say, how did you not know? How did you not see? You didn't know that happened. You didn't know this was happening. You're so discerning. You pray for everybody. You counsel. Where are they now? Why are you by yourself? It was bad, guys. It was bad. It was so bad till I got to the point where I began to curse the devil. I began to scream out and I started cursing the devil out, literally, out loud. It was that bad. And I realized, girl, you're in a place of no return. If you don't pull yourself in, you're going to literally have a nervous breakdown. You're going to snap. I realized it when I began to curse out loud, because I don't curse. I don't use profanity like that. And when I was like, wait, I heard myself. That's why I tell you guys, notice what you're noticing. Notice what you're noticing. Think about what you're thinking about. We don't take time to think about what we're thinking about. We're not noticing what we're noticing. So I began to notice what was happening, and I began to grab a hold of myself and hold myself tight while I just wept on the floor in my living room. I knew I needed to get into counseling at that point. I knew it had gotten to a pretty bad state. How long are you going to just stand there in the flames, allowing life to pass you by while holding on to your past or present circumstances? Okay, life happens. You were taken advantage of as a child. You had a child out of wedlock. You didn't finish school. You don't have a relationship with your biological father. You despise your mother. You lost your job. Your house went into foreclosure. The stock market crashed. You are incarcerated, divorced, unhappy, unappreciated, or unaccepted. Those are all of the things, guys, that God began to have me to pin, that people, all these things happen to people every day. Some people despise their biological father. Some people despise their biological mother. Some people don't have a relationship. Some people are incarcerated. He was sharing with me all of the things that people go through. He was like, you think you're going through some? There have people go through stuff. People go through stuff. So put yourself there, guys. Whatever was written, or maybe it wasn't. Where were you? Put yourself in that place. What is it in life that has taken you to a place where you found yourself numb? You can't feel anything anymore, right? So all of these that I just named off, those specific things did not happen to me per se directly, but those are just some examples that happens to people. Life happens. Do you feel the flames getting hotter? Do not just stand there, do something. Of course, it is always better to stop, drop, and roll. We know what to do when we're in a fire. We've heard that, right? Sometimes life will burn you badly enough to cause you to get out. Let's see, I'm skipping the page. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. To cause you to get out of the fire. But just like a child, you keep going back only to end up losing everything. How many of us be there sometimes? You'll go back to a broken relationship, or you'll go back hoping that they'll give you the promotion, or you'll go back hoping that that person will accept you, or that person will have you, going back only to go back into a second one. And this is just a metaphor here. This is not directly my experience. These are metaphors, but some of my experience are just embedded in this book throughout. But just like somebody that's on drugs, they get a hit, they go back and get another one, right? They take a drink and whatever, they go back and they want more, just to go back in, only to end up losing everything. Gambling, you gamble, you won, and you going back because you want to win again, but you end up losing everything, right? Let us learn the lesson in this. Take your losses and start over fresh. I walked away from a house and everything in it. When you want out so bad enough, you get out. You get out. I didn't have time to be back and forth about, get out, you get out, this, that, I didn't have time for that. When you want peace, you find peace, right? You find peace. So you have to take your losses. I took my losses, left the house with everything in it, and started over. You can begin again. Your experiences are the antidote you need in order to succeed. I'm going to say that again for somebody. Your experiences is your antidote you need in order to succeed. So let go of the blanket of your past that is enabling you to pacify your wounds. How much are you going to tolerate? Think about it. Let go of the past that is enabling you to pacify your wounds. See, I started going down my past and, well, God, I was a teenage mom and I was, forced to get married at 16 years old. I had my baby at 17. I didn't know anything about life. I didn't have many experiences, God. And if I wasn't forced to get married, then I wouldn't have went through the abuse. Then this wouldn't have happened. Then that wouldn't have happened. And I started blaming other people. But those were my choices. Nobody told me to get pregnant at 16. That's what I wanted to do, right? So a lot of times we blame people for the choices that we make. And all my parents were trying to do is to create a good environment for me, right? I had a house with a fireplace, a 2 bedroom home, a bathroom and living room. Who does that at 16 years old? Who gets married and they have that, right? And so I had a front porch, a yard, a side porch. I had all of that. And now in hindsight, I realize my parents were really trying to give me a life. They were trying to put me up and settle me and get me, to have a comfortable life where I can grow and my daughter would be there with me. And I didn't see it that way. I felt it as resentment and force, and I was upset and angry, and I carried that bitterness and resentment for a very long time. I never showed it, but inside my heart, I felt it. I felt it. And when I went through the abuse, that made me resent even more. But as you mature and you grow and you understand, it was for my good. They actually meant it for my good, but it didn't work out for me. But I made the choice, right? I made the choice. So let us learn the lesson in this. Take your losses and start over fresh, right? You can begin again. The dictionary defines insanity as extreme foolishness or irrationality. For example, we know it might be pure insanity to keep standing in the fire. Mary Jae, get out, get out. You don't have to stand. But because I was a young girl and I understood the unity of marriage and what marriage meant, I felt like, oh my God, if I get a divorce, I'm going to be outside of the will of God. God is not going to be pleased with me. I don't know if I should do this or not. So I was trying to rationalize in my head what I should do. But are you going to just keep standing in the flames of the fire when you know the fire is under your feet? You better get out. You better get out. If you're going through an abusive relationship, you better get out, right? And this is from my first marriage, but my second marriage, that was a whole situation as well. Totally. I was standing in the flames of the fire. So what happens? And that's pretty much why it lasted almost 19 years, because I never wanted to be the one to get a divorce, because I just felt like I was not going to be inside of the will of God had I done that. But when I understood and matured and understand differently, God wants the best for you. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. He won't want you in any harm's way or in any condition that is manipulation or controlling, right? Or degrading or anything like that, or abusive of any kind. Get out, man or woman, because there's some men that are abused by women too. But you don't need to stay. You don't need to stay stuck, and you don't need to continue in the flames of the fire. For an example, standing in the fire, repeating the same cycle. Guys, who am I to call you crazy, right? Because we already know that if you keep repeating the same thing over and over, expecting different results, the dictionary defines it as insanity. But who am I to call you crazy if that's what you're doing? But because that may be a trigger word for you, right? But ask yourself, are you? Think about it. Are you? Are you? If you keep doing what you've been doing, you will keep getting what you've been getting. So you have to do something differently. You have to be able to do something differently. Stop and think for a moment. How much do you tolerate? I'm going to pause right there. How much do you tolerate? Too many people put lots of energy in hopes and wishes. Absolutely. Absolutely. How much do you tolerate? Ask yourself a few questions. This is a test that we're going to take. It's written in the book. How much do you tolerate? Pause. Ask yourself that. Okay? How much do you tolerate? Think about it. Now, this is the survey. Ask yourself the question: should I remain in a broken, unhealthy, unfulfilling relationship? It's in the book. It's in the book. And they even have, I don't know if you can see it, it even have yes or no. Yes or no. Circle yes or no. Answer yes or no. Should I remain in a broken, unhappy, unhealthy, unfulfilling relationship? May I continue to hold on to a dreadful, painful past? Must I continue rather to hold on to a dreadful, painful past? Yes or no? Ask yourself, do I deserve to live in devastation, depression, disappointment, and despair? Yes or no? Okay. If you answer no to all of the above, congratulations. You have reached your tolerance level and you are at a much healthier and safer place. You are on your way to a healthier, happier, fulfilling life. You have just eliminated all the excuses, explanations, and insecurities that was holding you hostage. No longer will you remain victimized by the perceptions of others, which were also merely a reflection of how you process and perceive yourself. You are now in a position to go after your dream. Are you ready? Are you ready? All you needed was one yes. That's all you needed. Yes, I want to have a healthy, fulfilling relationship. Yes, I want to let go of my dreadful, dark past and move towards a promising future. Yes, I desire and deserve to live above mediocrity despite darkness and disappointments. All you needed was one yes. And now you're on to your dreams of fulfilling all of what God has given to you. I shall break the cycle and keep moving forward and aim higher. That's right. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself, motivate yourself, and empower yourself. I once heard someone say that sometimes you must participate in your own rescue. You are what you think in your heart, and you become whomever you desire to be. Forget your fears and set yourself free. You no longer walk in fear, but in power, love, and a sound mind. Relax. Focus on one goal at a time and start with what matters the most to you. Find a comfortable, quiet space where you can concentrate. Make a conscious decision to remain true to yourself and your goals that you have set. Remember, chapter 3. Make the investment. By investing time and attention into yourself, you will begin to appreciate your own self worth. Again, appreciate before you depreciate. Take a moment to pamper yourself and treat yourself to something fun because you deserve it. And I'm going to stop right there, guys, because we're past the 11 the 1 hour. We're going to pause right there because how much do you tolerate is a longer chapter than the others, and we'll pick up on the rest of how much do you tolerate. So pause right there. By investing time and attention in yourself, you will begin to appreciate your own self-worth. For those of you that have the book, mark your spot on page 116. We're going to park it right there and we're going to pick up the rest on tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll have our 2 chapters that we will conclude, because I already know that chapter 11 is not as long as chapter 10. So we're going to do part of chapter 10 and we'll finish off on chapter 11. Okay, is that all right? I don't want to keep you all too long. You know why? Because I manage my time and I love and appreciate you and I want to respect your time as well. Okay, so do you have any questions? But I will open up. Feel free if you have any questions. You have any questions on tonight? Anybody? No questions? No questions? Okay. All right, all right, all right. All right, guys, that is all for tonight. Go share. Go share and invite. Go share and invite. Tag someone to come in. We'll be posting our next chapter. We've gone through all of these chapters already. Um, And we want you all to come in and share with us on tomorrow night. We'll be dealing with our final chapter, that is chapter 11, what to celebrate. What to celebrate. We're going to find out on tomorrow. How much do you tolerate tonight? Okay. We're going to get there. We're going to finish all of this, but it's a process that we have to get through. And you all understand that this chapter, just like needs, wants, and desires, is a very touchy chapter for me, because these are the two chapters that I was just enmeshed in. You'll find most of me in these two chapters. Throughout the book, there's weaves and little grains of me throughout, along with other experiences of people, or people that I know, or even myself. But chapter how much do you tolerate, that was a touchy one for me, as well as chapter 8, needs, wants, and desires. So I love you all very much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for standing with your girl all the way through. And Mr. Leon Walker, my friend, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in and just sharing with us on tonight. So how much do you tolerate, guys? Think about it, and we'll see you all on tomorrow, and we'll talk about it. Okay, we'll talk about it on tomorrow. So I look forward to having you all. I look forward to being with you all on tomorrow. Until then, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you on tomorrow.